from here. So I'm separating literally the tissue from the front and the back of the body by activating the right muscles from here. And the easiest way to learn how to do that is, again, just to like have something like I have, because when we shift, because one of the things too is that when we're shifting the weight forward and backward between absorb and project, right? One of the things that we are really looking at is the midline of the body. So, you know, like if somebody had a big sword and they cut me in half right down this line, the front half is going to have its own mass and the back half is going to have its own mass. And I'm looking at this line here so that when I shift forward, I just kind of want to like pin like forward of this line slightly and just pin on the, so like I'm just kind of like putting a little bit more pressure here to the dantian so that I get this alignment that everything is drawing to here. So one other thing that as we progress through this absorb and project, and we're trying to be more precise about how we generate tension, that again is like the muscles of the front and the muscles of the back, and they have different lines of force and tension. So like they push and pull along slightly different lines in the body. So one of the things is we want to look at the muscles of breathing. So most of the time, like the main muscle for breathing we do talk about is always the diaphragm. But we have muscles between each of our ribs that are called the intercostals. And they're separated in two layers. So you have like your external intercostals and the internal intercostals. Now, when you activate the external layer, the external intercostals, it helps you to like flare your rib cage open. And when you activate the internal intercostals, it helps you to compress the rib cage. And so I want to learn how to use, so like when you breathe out all the way, like you're going to blow up a balloon, like when you feel that compression here, like in the rib cage, like everything's squeezing here, that's your internal intercostals activating, and some of the, like the transverse. The reason that I want to bring that up is because it's when I'm activating the yin muscles, so everything here on the front side of the body, and I'm aligning more to my dantian, it's like those same muscles that you're using to blow out all that air that helps everything like from here, that I can just like drop. See how like I get some movement on the front side, like the tissue of my body and the bones, that when I use those muscles and I get some movement like of it dropping downward, like. But I didn't do like this. It's not like leaning forward. It's just learning how to like tense these muscles a little bit and like tense the right muscles and then relax everything else so that you can, like, you see how I can, the design on my t-shirt, like I can lift it, I can drop it. And it's by just activating those muscles of like the rib cage. Like I use the external intercostals, the outside ones, and it lifts the design. See, I didn't move anything else but flare my rib cage, because you look at the rest of my body, it's not moving. Then from here, I relax those muscles and I activate the internal ones, and the design drops down a little bit. That's yin. Yin dropping down to dantian. So this is some of like the progression of, like, when we talk about shifting between the front and the back of the body, we can shift forward slightly, like we can shift the whole body forward slightly, and that is shifting me more to the front, and I do that a little bit, but then also I drop everything, like I use the muscles from here, so I'm separating literally the tissue from the front and the back of the body by activating the right muscles from here. And the easiest way to learn how to do that is, again, just to like have something like I have a special toy that I bought here, and it's called the breather fit. Is that more legible? Right. So basically, all this does is it has 2 different valves on it, and so it gives you resistance on both ends from both an inhale and an exhale. Like, but if you don't have something like this, it's just as easy to use like a balloon or a coffee straw or something. Just anything that's going to give you like some extra resistance, that when you but again, like, you don't need to spend the money on one of those if you don't want to or don't need to, because the main thing is about the muscles of exhaling, because it's this. And again, just look at the design on my t-shirt from here, that when I breathe out and condense, it's like dropping everything and pressing. But when you look at me from the side, like, you see how I'm not doing this to make that happen. It's just by learning how to separate the front and the back, or recognizing that feeling, right? And again, like I said, it's those muscles of respiration that are the key components of that movement. So by doing some more of these like breathing exercises with a little bit of resistance, either you can use a tool like that breather fit, or you can use just a coffee straw or a balloon or something. Like a coffee straw is more multi-purpose because you can inhale and exhale through the coffee straw. It's very small. And get that activation of like inhale, and you're using the external intercostals more instead of just, or so that you're not doing this too, like, because a lot of people tend to breathe like, they're using the muscles of the neck and the shoulders to drive the inhale. But as we know from 13 points, is the shoulders should be dropping down over the hips all the time. So when I inhale, shouldn't be anything happening here. And when I exhale, it's drop. And then again, when I go from the side, you can see that it's like this is just moving like down, down, down. I'm not doing like this kind of movement to like drive my inhale and exhale. And again, the reason that that's important is because you need to know how to use these muscles on command, so that then when I want to, I can just drop this.